My brothers and sisters, brethren and sistren, ladies and lads, it was a great night of boxing yesterday. Oh my goodness, man. Where can I start? And where should I end? I don't even know, but I know that this night of boxing was fantastic. If you're not a boxing fan, even if you're not a boxing fan, you should still be excited about the fights that transpired. However, with all that greatness and sensation and awesomeness, there was two people that stood out, and they weren't boxers.
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? It's your boy, Dr. Boxing Talk, back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what time it is. The doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. David Benavidez for David Morrell. That card by PBC was awesome. Fantastic, phenomenal from top to bottom, man. I'm talking about even on the prelims, you know. There's so much I want to talk about, you know, from Isa Pitbull Cruz to versus Angel Fierro, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, a salute to Israel Vasquez. That belt was dope that they did to commemorate his life and his contribution to boxing. Fire. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Ramos and Jason Rosario. Fire. You know, even Kerma and Moulton put on a show. You know, but let's go to the co-main event, man, with Brandon Figueroa defended his belt at the featherweight title with a rematch against Stephen Fulton. You know, that was great. You know, I actually got that wrong. I thought Figueroa was going to win, but I thought he was going to win by UD. I didn't count him out like the fools that counted him out. I mean, Stephen Fulton gave Brandon Figueroa his only blemish on his record. Brandon Figueroa has one loss, and that's to Stephen Fulton, albeit at a lower weight division. But a lot of people think because he lost to the pound-for-pound talent and Naya Inoue that he's somehow trash. Don't use somebody's low light to suddenly be their highlight because you're unfamiliar with their career and their boxing capability. Like I said with Stephen Fulton, he definitely has a chance against Brandon Figueroa because he was the only person that beat him. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, now that he's a champion, he also beat another champion, Angelo Leo. That's his only losses to Stephen Fulton. So, of course, he had a chance. A shot to Stephen Fulton. Big salute. I was wrong. I thought Figueroa would win. But he put on a good show. He was just outclassed. You know, and Stephen Fulton did his thing, man. And I was wrong. And Stephen Fulton bounced back. And I look forward to seeing more fights of him in the future. Speaking to Stephen Fulton, man, I had trouble giving Figueroa any round. You know, I thought that Figueroa won 2 rounds, you know, but I had Fulton washing him. But you know what else was a wash? Apparently, David Benavidez washed David Morrell, according to Tim Cheatham, you know, and I don't want to highlight a guy who wasn't boxing because the fight was great between David Benavidez, David Morrell. Big salute to David Benavidez. Big salute to David Morrell. David Morrell was pursuing the fight since 168. David Benavidez obliged and said, hey, man, you know, it's a fan-friendly fight. Let's get right to it. And he embraced the challenge, and they both brought us a great fight that, frankly, didn't even have to happen, you know, because they're both in great positions to challenge for the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol, regardless if they fought each other. But this just showed the heart and the pride of these young men. So we got to salute David Morrell and David Benavidez for a fantastic fight. Phenomenal fight. It was awesome, you know what I'm saying? And I just loved it, man. But we got to get to some of the details of the fight. Now, while I'm not complaining about Benavidez winning, the fight could have went either way for me. I know I might be in the minority, but I actually had Morrell winning 114 to 112, you know?
What?
I actually had him winning the first 3 rounds. You know, the first rounds 1 through 3, I gave to Morrell. And then Benavidez won his first round in the 4th, but I thought it was a fight that went back and forth. I'm not complaining about the winner because actually going into the fight, like I picked Figueroa over Fulton by UD, I picked Benavidez by Morrell over UD. So I was correct. However, that doesn't mean that I want to cheat anybody or do anybody unfairly. And be quite frank, I feel like David Morrell was done unfairly, man. And I was kind of irate, man. You know, Tim Cheatham, man, he scored the fight. I can't even say it with a straight face. He scored at 118 to 108. That's 10 rounds to 2, bro. Like I just said with Figueroa and Fulton, I don't think Figueroa, he barely won a round. But even his scorecards was 117 to 111 was the widest margin for him. So as dominant of a performance that Fulton put on Figueroa, he didn't even get a 118, 108 scorecard, you know? So I just thought Tim Cheatham, you know, no disrespect to Tim Cheatham, but I got to tell the truth, you know? He is known for habitually going with the A side. He's done that historically. Speaking of history, let's review some of his history. Let's go back to when Tim Tszyu fought Sebastian Fedor. You remember that fight? Tim Tszyu suffered a hellacious cut. You know, he was severely handicapped. you know, with blood pouring in his eye, impairing his vision. And, you know, he's losing a lot of energy with all the blood being lost. You know, the excessive blood loss results in some drained energy. So he was handicapped, but still the fight went on, and Sebastian Fedora outpointed him. He did his job. You know, the blow wasn't malicious intent, it was accidental. But, you know, Fedora capitalized on his opponent who had a disadvantage, you know?
Yeah.
Tim Cheatham scored that fight 116 to 112 in favor of Tim Tszyu. How the heck did you get that scorecard? Like I said, he always goes for the A side. Now let's talk about another example. This man had Hitchens over Lemos by a scorecard of 117-111. Now granted, with Hitchens, just like with Benavidez, I'm not mad at that because I actually had Hitchens winning. I remember my scorecard, I had him winning 8 rounds to 4, you know, which reflected a 116-112, but I could see 115-113, 7 rounds to 5. But 117-111, that's crazy, man. Gustavo Lemos only won 3 rounds. Like I said, the result was correct, so I'm not too mad at it. But still, you got to be fair and give people an opportunity to win, you know? And I feel like with that scorecard that was with David Benavidez and Morrell, 118-108, that means that Morrell, he had to either knock him out cold to win, or David Benavidez, he essentially didn't even have to fight. According to Tim Cheatham, he won at the weigh-in. He didn't even have to fight. So I just think it was unfair to have that scorecard. There's no way Morrell lost that badly, especially when he got a knockdown in the 11th round. You know, the 11th round he got a knockdown, and he needed that, right? Speaking of that, another guy, Thomas Taylor, man, he's a great referee. I even complimented him when I saw that he was a ref going into the fight. I was like, yes, man, Thomas Taylor's a good referee, man. And then just as soon as I complimented him, in the same fight, he let me down. He took a point from David Morrell, bro. How do you do that, bro? How the hell do you do that in that situation? 11th round, David Morrell, yes. Did he retaliate egregiously? Was his hit after the bell? Yes, of course it was. It was a foul. Yeah, absolutely. It was illegal. But David Benavidez initiated it. Notice how I said retaliation. That implies that his action was a reaction to the initial action of David Benavidez hitting David Morrell late. No, I'm not saying that makes it okay. I'm not advocating for that at all. But my point here is that David Morrell, we know why he did it. He didn't just do it for nothing. So yeah, the referee was justified in taking a point, but at the same time, you got to use your common sense and let a calm head prevail, man. You got to, you know, what you have to do is look at the situation and analyze it, man, and see that not only is this a big moment, a pivotal moment of the fight, but you also have to use your discretion to recognize, hey, he retaliated, and his action was a reaction to the initial action of David Benavidez hitting him late. And then you also got to consider the history too. I know this is a lot to think of in the moment, but let me take you back. Remember at the weigh-in? Not the weigh-in, excuse me. Remember at one of the press conferences, I believe it was the first one, where David Benavidez, no, it wasn't the first one. It might have been the first one actually, where David Benavidez pushed David Morrell, and then everybody immediately got between him and he threw the belt. And a lot of us like, dang, he shouldn't have threw the belt. Well, he had to try to retaliate. These are fighters we're talking about, man. So if somebody gets hit, I'm not a fighter. I used to box amateurly, but if somebody hits me, I'm trying to get my get back. I don't care who's going in between. I'm trying to initially get my get back right there in the moment, impulsively. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to wait till later. I'm trying to get my get back right then. So he had to throw the belt because he couldn't get hands on him. So then in his mind, he's like, oh, now you hit me again? This situation coming on in the fight where you hit me after the bell? No, I'm gonna get my get back. So he swung back. You know, now I would say that if the point deduction was coming and he hit him late for no reason, then okay. Did he hit him real late? Yes, of course. So I understand it. It was justified, but just because it was justified doesn't mean that it was the right thing to do to penalize him and deduct a point in a pivotal moment like that. Because in my opinion, David Benavidez won the subsequent round, the 12th round, but that changed the momentum of that fight, man. You could see that David Morrell was visibly frustrated. He was like, gosh, Lee, man, you stole the momentum from me, you know? And that's no excuse to not win the 12th round because you still have to push through adversity. But, man, if he wasn't handicapped, man. So I'm not going to lie, man, to me, the fight was great. It could have went either way. I think the scorecard was ridiculous. You know, I had Morrell slightly winning, but I also had Bivol slightly winning over Beterbiev, but I don't think that was a robbery. I definitely see how Beterbiev could have won. So I definitely could see how somebody would have Benavidez winning. And like I said, that goes with my bet. You know, I thought that Benavidez would win by unanimous decision anyway, so I'm not mad. I like both these combatants. However, I do think that the cards were stacked severely and ridiculously against David Morrell, man. And like I said, man, the referee, I thought he made an egregious mistake. However, Just like with Fulton, right? Where I said that he got knocked out and cleaned up by Inoue, a low light should have become somebody's highlight. This one mistake that, in my opinion, that Thomas Taylor made, it does not supersede his whole body of work of being a great referee. But I just have to call it out and be critical because I thought that was a pivotal moment in the fight, and I thought that he messed up. He dropped the ball in that one, man. In no way, shape, or form should you take a point right there. And if you're going to take a point from both of them, because that 10-8 round for Morrell just turned into a 9-8 round for Morrell. And then that makes you think, like, how the hell did Tim Cheatham still get it 118-108 in favor of Benavidez? Is crazy. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, to you goofies out there, and trust me, there's a lot of y'all that are trying to say that the David Morrell knockdown on Benavidez wasn't legit.
What?
Like, I don't know if you don't know what a knockdown is, but you don't have to knock somebody down by hitting them in the jaw, in the head, or in the stomach. It doesn't matter, right? As long as the initial action comes from a punch to make the other person fall, it's a knockdown. So yes, the punch was like in the shoulder area while David Benavidez was off balance because he was swinging himself. But if the punch is not in the equation, David Benavidez does not lose balance. So just because the knockdown didn't decapitate the opposition, it doesn't mean it's any less of a knockdown. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to entertain it any further by showing the footage. You could go look it up yourself. But if you watch the fight, whether it's in slow-mo, fast-mo, it doesn't matter, man. You can tell it's clearly a knockdown and the referee got it right.
Shut up, bitch.
Because if it wasn't for the punch, David Benavidez would never have been off balance enough to hit the canvas. So was it a punch that hurt him and knocked him out? No. But it was a punch that caused him to lose his balance, hence it being a knockdown. So the referee got that right. I don't even know why people are making this something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is I don't even know. Let's get back to regularly scheduled programming.
We now join our regularly scheduled program, already in progress.
But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Number one, and first and foremost, and what takes priority is the fact that I enjoyed these fights. Every single fight was good from top to bottom on this PBC card, man. Shout out to David Morrell and David Benavidez for taking the challenge. Hopefully nobody loses faith in David Morrell. I love how he made no excuses. I love how he said he's going to go back to the drawing board and improve and practice and work on it, man. I definitely think he's going to bounce back and be a champion. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but somewhere in the near future. And shout out to David Benavidez, man. I hope he doesn't go to cruiserweight like he was teasing, and he stays at light heavyweight, man. Takes on the and goes and strives to challenge the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol rematch, you know, whether it's after the trilogy or more imminently and after the rematch, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man. Is Tim Cheatham tripping? I don't think I want to see Tim Cheatham score another or judge another fight, man. You know, it just is what it is, man. Like I said, I gave you too many examples. Those are just recent examples too. If you go back in Tim Cheatham's history, like I said, this one, luckily, I don't think it changed the outcome of the fight because the other two judges still had David Morrell winning. I'm sorry, they still had David Benavidez winning. You know what I'm saying? So that 118-108 scorecard, even if you would have took that away or made it more closer, but it still wouldn't have changed the outcome of the fight. And it seems like that the point deduction didn't change the outcome of the fight either, because the other two judges had a 116-112 in favor of Benavidez. So that 1 point still wouldn't have swung it in Morrell's favor. So you can have find some solace in that, but at the same time, still you want people to get things correctly. And I feel like the referee and the judge, Tim Cheatham, the judge Tim Cheatham and the referee Thomas Taylor kind of did an injustice to my boy David Morrell, man. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Other than that, it was a great fight, great night of boxing, man. Shout out to all the combatants. I'm glad they're safe. And hey, man, Angel Fierro and Isa Pitbull Cruz, hopefully they go get checked out, because that fight was brutal. But I loved it, man. Y'all be easy, take care of yourselves. Remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Don't forget to hit that like button for your boy. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.